important to understand from the investor's perspective when looking at AI startups. So now I'd like to welcome Andrei Doktoroff, ex-founder, now an investor and a huge advocate for AI startups. So yeah, here's this. Yeah.
So hello everybody. Whoa. My name is Andrei. I've been building businesses for about 20 years. Now I'm more turned into an investor, so I'm like you guys. So far I've built a portfolio of about 20 million, and some of it is AI startups. So today we're going to talk about how to pick the good and the bad. But to be honest, I think it's pretty early to really know how to pick AI startups, because it's haven't been that long since they exist, especially so many of them. But I'll try to give my perspective. I'm actually in AI for many years. I've been building a startup in AI since like 5 years, even before the GPT and everything, which didn't succeed, by the way. But when I saw GPT-3, I instantly knew that something like really changed. And since then, I'm all in AI. Right now, I've invested in about 3 startups that are impossible without generative AI. And well, let's see if they're successful, but all of them have raised the next rounds. So hopefully, they were good picks. So one of the main thoughts that I want to say is that actually we can call a company an AI company only if it is developing like foundational AI models or some huge infrastructure. Otherwise, it's actually like any other company or any other business, and we should actually like remove AI from it. Because for right now, any reasonable, well-run technological company is using AI. So I think in most of the cases that I receive pitches right now and I see startups pitching, we should really be kind of disregarding AI in their names and in their domains and just looking at the business. And well, it's pretty sad that in Latvia only 8 or 10% of companies are applying AI, and that's actually one of the reasons why me and Evalds and Arturs have created MILA, our Latvian AI Association, is actually to really promote the use of this technology, both in startups and in businesses, etc. And I hope that you all are using it already. And you don't have to be called AI investors because of that. Everybody is using this and should be. And for us as investors, it kind of presents a difficult question right now, because everybody is calling themselves AI, everybody is showcasing this kind of very new products, technologies, and processes. So how do we distinguish really serious and promising and interesting businesses from actually like weekend projects or wrappers around ChatGPT? So that's the question we're going to try to answer. And first, I would give this AI spectrum, which was created by one of the very good funds, that basically there is definitely many levels of how deep AI integration, how deep AI is integrated into the company. And as we see, it can be like start from just a bare minimum when AI is used, I don't know, in customer support or just to optimize or automate some processes, which obviously doesn't make it like really core, to really companies that would not be possible without AI. So when we look at the projects, we definitely should somehow score and ask and research how deep like AI is in the core product, and if it's actually important. Next, we should also, let's say, think about how the market is structured and what kind of products exist. I like this simple, let's say, four-piece division, which is pretty broad, but gives a good idea. So first of all, there's infrastructure, which is all the data centers, GPUs, etc. Then there is foundational models. Well, infrastructure is like NVIDIA, Amazon, AWS, etc. And there is foundational models. These are, again, huge companies like OpenAI, Mistral, Anthropic, etc. These two segments are obviously super capital intensive, and they are very hard to enter. So for us, probably we won't be investing in these companies since they don't really exist in Latvia or even in Europe, where there are very, very few. And then it's mostly for the bigger funds. For us as angels and early stage investors, probably the engineering tools and apps, other segments where we're gonna see companies. So basically engineering tools are, let's say software infrastructure that helps to connect models, connect APIs, connect different tools to make use cases, automations possible. And apps are, let's say, very focused applications in a certain process, in a certain industry, in a certain, basically, product. Yes. Then, let's talk about some of the questions that I think an investor should ask the company, which is calling itself AI or is supposedly building something very high potential and important. So, the first question, if you remove AI from the pitch deck, will it make sense? It's a pretty simple question, but in many cases I see that it already gives a hard time for the team. So basically, AI should not blind us, or any other technology actually, and so that like we don't look at the business, we don't look at the market, we don't look at the demand, etc. So all of these things remain like very important. Market, business model, etc. You should still look at it, disregarding AI. Because it's a technology that is available to everybody. It's developing very fast. It's super uncertain. So very few people can really rely just on that, except maybe from the huge AI players like OpenAI, etc. Second question. Basically, are you the right team to do this? Which is, again, kind of the common sense. But we should really look on the people and their expertise and their involvement. Because, again, things like prompt engineering and only appeared like 1 or 2 years ago. And for many of us, it's really difficult to distinguish. Like what's the level of expertise of these people? Did they really like study it a lot? Did they have a lot of experience? Or they just took, let's say, an open source project, they experimented with ChatGPT a bit, and then they call themselves prompt engineers or AI engineers, etc. So really dig deep into people, their skills, and basically, yeah, their level of expertise in the domain. What I also find is very important, at least in my experience, that AI alone right now is not really enough, especially if we are looking at categories as apps. What is very important for teams to have local domain expertise in the tool that they're building. For example, if they are building like a KYC AML, let's say, app that is helping to automate or speed up the process, they should really know the fintech field. They should have experience there. They should know how all the internals work. When actually this is the case, it's actually a very good signal that they will be able to succeed or at least get some traction. Because again, AI alone is not an advantage. but very deep technical expertise, very deep business expertise combined with AI is actually a great mix. That actually goes the same for us as users. Like everybody has access to ChatGPT, but if we really know what questions to ask, if we really know how to judge the answers, we're gonna get like tremendously better results than all the other people who have access to the same technology. So kind of the same logic. Next, also a very good question. Will foundational models eat you for lunch? So basically, will you be replaced by the next release of OpenAI? And that has happened to very many companies and startups, especially those who have started early, that they were building like just a different, a bit more convenient user interface or some specialized connection or a bit more complicated reasoning, let's say, algorithm that made a little better answers. All of them were destroyed by next model or Google, who like embedded AI functions into all their Google Docs, so all the writers, all the optimizers, summarizers, they all disappeared. But I've seen companies who raised like hundreds of millions just to disappear with a release from a big company. So this is very important, a very important thing to take into account because the space is developing rapidly. Big companies are implementing these features also, maybe not rapidly, but they are. So Apple, Google, Amazon, they are actually releasing these very convenient, let's say, tools that can cover the whole spectrum of startups that weren't diversified, differentiated enough. So we should really see like what kind of unique perspective do they bring? Do they like really integrate into an industry with some, I don't know, data integrations? Do they have very specific data access to some registries or whatnot? So very important to see this differentiation. Yes. Next one is, uniqueness and replicability. A little bit similar, but again, we have to see what's so special about this team, what's so special about their process, what's so special about their technology and data. Because, as I said, everybody has the same access to AI models. There's plenty of open source. There's all the same APIs. So a lot of us, a lot of founders are actually running for the same problems, for the same solutions. So super important to think, to analyze the defensibility, what kind of modes are they building, why will they not be replicated, what's super unique about what they're building, is it going to provide a lasting value? Because a lot of startups, a lot of ideas, they can be, again, they can be created with ChatGPT plus like one integration or one or two integrations. That's why also I think it's quite a dangerous time for us to invest into all these high promising startups because it's really changing fast. It's really developing. We don't really know what's going to happen like in a month or two. Maybe they're going to like, I don't know, release an agent that is going to do like everything but on its own. There is a risk like that. So that's why, to be honest, I'm very kind of skeptical and slow right now and have been in the beginning after I saw how, let's say, first, let's say, wave of startups got eaten by these larger companies on newer models. So it's very, very tricky to really understand like what can be done by smaller companies or startups and what will be done by larger companies or even the foundational models themselves. The next one is actually also one of the very important points, and that what Ewald was also talking about, that AI models are quite a special technology. So they are not really thinking like we are. They are not algorithms that have like these specific rules or ways of calculation, way of working. They calculate probabilities. They go with the, like Ewald said, on the way of least resistance. And that means that they hallucinate, that they come up with some answer that kind of looks real but is not. So it's so what is very important to think when we're looking at these different use cases is what kind of error rate, what kind of mistakes are we ready to accept, because they will happen. So for example, if we are, I don't know, giving medical advice, we should be like super, super, super cautious, like when evaluating if we will be able to actually use like LLMs or whatever their specific setup to give this advice, because even like, I don't know, 5, 1, 2, 3% error rate can already be fatal or result in some kind of lawsuit. And with LLMs, things will go wrong. It's a probability. It's not an algorithm. So that's very important thing to think about, if this is acceptable or not. If this is not, then how are they countering it if they are having all the proper checks, boundaries, etc. And yeah, that's about it for the big questions. And to sum it all up, the key takeaways that I want all of you to kind of note is that we have to still look for good business inside of a project, even if we, let's say, take out AI from the domain name. We should really prioritize defensibility and uniqueness to ensure that it's actually sustainable long term, to ensure that it's not going to be eaten or very easily copied by competitors. Obviously, very big point, as always, is team, their technical competence, their AI competence, and their domain expertise. And again, like any other technology, AI has limitations. It's not a magic pill. It's not going to do everything perfectly. We have to really study it. We have to use it. That's actually the most important. I think to really understand this last point, for us as users and as investors, the most and the best solution is to actually use AI, to talk to chats, to try to solve problems, and then we will see the limitation. Then we see like how it thinks. Then we see like let's say it goes sideways. We can see things like it never says no. It will always tries to come up with some answer which like seem real. And a lot of those things you can't really listen or read on the lecture. You have to use it, you have to apply it, and you have to see it for yourself, which hopefully all of you will do. And yes, so like always, technology alone is not enough. We have to look for much more in startups that we invest in. That's it from me. Here are my contacts. I'm ready to connect, share insights. Yes, thank you very much.